Hi guys, today I will show you how to crochet these little face scrubbies, makeup remover pads. They're quite textured. They're made with 100% cotton. This is brilliant for dishcloth cotton or craft cotton. I am going to be using dishcloth cotton, which is an Aran weight cotton, and a 4.5mm crochet hook. This is suitable for people who have basic understanding of crochet stitches. It's not too in-depth. We're going to make a slip knot. Normal slip knot, pop it on your hook, snug it up. Then we're going to chain 4. So yarn around hook, pull through 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to insert my hook into the first chain. If you can just see, I'm just going in here and slip stitch to make a little ring. So I'm just taking the working yarn straight through the chain and straight through the working chain. Now we've got a little ring that we're going to be working our first round into. So this stitch is a puff stitch. It is a slight variation on the half treble, I suppose. First of all, we're going to chain 2. So this is to get us up to the height of the puff stitch. 1, 2. And then to do the puff stitch is we're going to put the yarn around our hook, insert it into the middle, yarn around, pull through to the front. So that's how we would do either the start of a treble or a half treble. Next, we're going to do the same thing again. So yarn around hook, through our work, pull a loop through to the front. So now we have 5 loops on our hook, and we're going to do it again. Yarn around, through the work, yarn around, pull through to the front, 7 loops on your hook. Now we're going to go yarn around and pull through all 7, so we've just got 1 stitch left on our hook. That is 1 puff stitch. Now chain 1 and do another puff stitch. We are going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 puff stitches into the ring. Again, a puff stitch is yarn around, through your work, pull up a loop, yarn around, through your work, pull up a loop, yarn around, through your work, pull up a loop, 7 loops on your hook, yarn around, jiggle it about through everything. 2 puff stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5. So the last one is chain 1 and last puff stitch. And then chain 1, and we're just going to slip stitch to that first chain that's sat up there, slip stitch into there. We'll just slip stitch until we're into this first chain 1 gap. So we're in here, going to go in to that one, slip stitch, pull through, into that chain 1 gap, slip stitch and pull it through. So now we're in the gap that we're going to work our next couple of puff stitches into. So to start round 2, we're going to chain 2, which is going to get us up to the height of the puff stitch. This does not count as a stitch. Now in each chain 1 gap that we made on the first round, we're going to put 2 puff stitches. If I show you on here, you can see where we've got this 1 chain 1, we have 2 puff stitches coming out of that one. So we're going to end up with 12 puff stitches around on round 2. It may feel really fiddly and dense, but this is what's going to make these last ages. And because they're so dense, they're brilliant for cleaning. Sorry, there we go. Again, after each puff stitch, we're going to do a chain 1 and then into the same hole as before. And then chain 1, done 2 into the first one. Now we're going to do 2 into the second chain 1. Now we're back to the start. This is where our chain 2 was on the previous round. So we're going to go into that gap just before that. Only problem with cotton is it splits. So you just need to be aware of that. But crochet is easy enough. If your yarn has split or if a stitch doesn't look quite right, it's brilliant because you can just take 1 stitch back. Last puff stitch for the round. Chain 1, slip stitch into that chain there. And then we're slip stitching until we get into this gap here. So that's into there and then into the gap. Slip stitch, slip stitch. Now for the third round, we are going to do 2 into the first, 1 into the second, 2 into the third, 1 into the second. So as you can see, this line will continue. If you want to do many rounds of this, on your 4th round you would do 2 into your first and then 1 into that one, 1 into that one, and then 2 into the next one. So you're just increasing each round by 6 puff stitches. So on this round we will have 18 puff stitches in total. So chain 2 again, and then we're going to work our 2 puff stitches into here, 1 puff stitch into here, 2 puff stitches into here, 1 puff stitch into here. It's a puff stitch, chain 1. As you can see, when I'm pulling my hook through all those 7 loops, I don't pull it straight through. I give it a bit of a jiggle through, and it just helps if the plies of the cotton are going to split. It helps them not get caught onto your hook. Did I do a chain 1? No, I didn't. Did I? Easiest way to tell, if I take that out, it's still holding. Yes, I did. So now I'll redo that chain 1 and 1 puff stitch into here. So we did 2 into our first chain 1 space, and then we're doing 1 into our second chain 1 space. Chain 1. So now we're going to do 2 into this one. Always chaining 1 in between your stitches. One into the last chain 1 space. Chain 1. slip stitch into that stitch there, and then I'm just doing the 3 rounds on this one, so I will cut it off, fasten off by just pulling that end through your stitch, pull it tight, and then just weave your ends in. Brilliant thing with crochet is it's so easy to hide all your ends. Oh. Put that through there. I will pop either a link in the description or the pattern in the description, and I will make sure that if it is on my Ravelry, it will be free for the foreseeable future to keep all our brains active. And then just snip those ends off. With these being cotton, they can go in a nice hot wash. If you're using it to remove makeup, you can put it in a 60-degree wash and it will clean them up really, really nicely. Or if you've got a small child, as many of you know, I have my mini crafter who he likes mud. They're actually really good because they're slightly more abrasive, so they're really good for, you know, having a good scrub. I hope you found this video useful. I'm uploading every Monday evening, so be sure to check out next Monday and see what I'm uploading then. Happy crafting. Bye bye.